Hey, what's up, my paranormal soldiers? Welcome back to Bad to the Bone Paranormal, where we don't just poke the bear, summons it, name it, and ask it what the hell it wants. Today, we're going straight to hell and back. Yes, we're talking about demons, where they came from, what the Catholic Church says about them, how ghost hunters deal with them, and what scientists won't admit they've seen. So grab your sage, grab your salt, or your skepticism, because by the end of this video, you'll be questioning everything: your safety, your sanity, and possibly your search history. Unless you're already possessed, in that case, make yourself really comfy because the ride, it's about to get real bumpy. Before the word demon meant red guy with horns and a six pack of abs, shout out to Hollywood for that, these beings showed up in ancient civilizations. The Sumerians gave us Pazuzu, wind demon, bringer of plagues, and low key the creepiest baby protector ever. The Egyptians had a whole buffet of underworld nasties. The Greeks, their daimons, were spiritual forces that could be good or bad. So basically, the ancient people were like, it's either a demon trying to help you or eat your fucking soul. Who knows? Flip a coin, find out. Says yes. Fast forward to the Hebrew Bible, and we start to see demons as fallen angels, spirits that rebelled against God. This idea becomes central in Christianity. The Catholic Church took demonology really serious. We're talking consuls, books, and official exorcist. Yep, real job title, exorcist. Demons were described in grim detail: Legion, Belial, Asmodeus. The church taught that demons could tempt, possess, and even physically harm humans. They were seen as literal enemies of the soul. So the next time your aunt says you're being tempted by evil, what she means is you're being recruited by the demon of lust. Thanks, Aunt Linda. Let's hear from someone who's literally trained to fight demons. Here's Father Vincent Lambert, a legit Catholic exorcist, breaking it down.
There is a war that's being waged between good and evil. Faith in God will lead us in one direction. The lack of faith will lead us in another. I have seen many manifestations of evil, and exorcism is the only cure for one who's truly demonically possessed. I'm Father Vincent Lambert. I've been a Catholic priest for the past 25 years. Some people will dabble in the things of the occult, believing that perhaps they're just fun and entertaining, but what they may not fully realize is that they're dabbling with evil, and they could be opening up an entry point for evil into their lives. Over the years, exorcism has undergone many different transformations. Exorcism goes back even before the time of Christ, but exorcisms became truly efficacious or real with the coming of Christ. The oldest formalized version of the rite of exorcism would date back to 1614. It was revised in 1999. Some of the manifestations I've witnessed over the years seem kind of incredible, incredulous. I think the manifestations that one sees in movies, such as The Exorcist, all that truly is possible. Eyes rolling in the back of the head, foaming at the mouth, growling and snarling like a wild animal, strong stenches. The temperature in the room will drop, bodily contortions. I remember a person who began to levitate during the exorcism. Now, these manifestations are meant to distract the exorcist. And I learned quickly that the exorcist should not focus on the manifestations of evil, but focus on the power of God that is at work. This is where I perform my most intense case of exorcism. It took place 5 years ago here in this convent. The items I use for exorcism. And in addition, in my bag, I also have the holy water that I would use. We came into the space, the spouse who was very strong and confident in his belief. The woman who was afflicted sat down here. You could smell in the air the sense of perspiration, just the anxiety of what was about to take place. No sooner did the drops of water hit the head of the lady than the manifestations began immediately. She exhibited vocal outbursts, speaking in languages that she didn't otherwise know, exhibiting strength beyond the normal capacity of a person, and also an aversion to things of a sacred nature. And all this was going on as I was praying. Sancte Michael Arcangele, defendi-nos in prelio, contra nequitiam et incit Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison. And so I commanded the demon Leviathan to depart immediately. And then the demon that had been speaking in this very strong, authoritative voice began to speak like a little baby, and then looked at me and said, "Hail Mary, full of grace." And there was a shriek, and all the manifestations of evil ended because the presence of evil was now completely gone. People will believe what they will, so it's not really my task to try to convince people of something. Because if you're a person of faith, you begin with the premise that believing is seeing. People that may come from more of a scientific background may begin with the premise that I have to see in order to believe.
Outside the church, the demon game is strong in the paranormal world. Investigators report temperature drops, growls from nowhere, scratches, and full on possessions. Some say demonic hauntings feel different, more oppressive, more personal. I see you in your dreams. Personal. Yikes. Yikes. Paranormal soldiers out there, you know this. You can walk into a place and just feel when something's wrong. Some have walked away from demon cases completely changed. Here's a seasonal paranormal investigator talking about what makes a haunting feel demonic.
My name is Sam Baltrusis. What scares me about the paranormal, my biggest fear is possession. I went in having a night of fun, celebrating Halloween, and it turned into a night of terror. Whatever was happening to me was taking over and was destroying me.
Sam believes what is happening to his mind and his body may not be of this world.
I felt like that it was definitely something paranormal. What part of the paranormal, I wasn't really sure. I did do this whole seance event at Pierce Farm at Witch Hill. I thought maybe it was another spirit in the house or was it related to other events. I mean, I gave tours in Salem, Massachusetts, so it could have been anything.
Sam knows whatever is controlling his mind is powerful, and he's not taking any chances.
Because I didn't trust myself while I slept, I got a rope and I would tie myself to the bed while I went to sleep because I didn't know if I was going to end up falling off that balcony or jumping off that balcony while I was sleeping. So imagine being in bed and being tied to the bed and not knowing what's going to happen. So that was terrifying.
If any spirit or entity has somehow entered my home, you're not welcome here. Leave now.
It came very clear the entity was saying, do it, do it. I thought do it meant for me to kill myself.
Author Sam Baltrusis believes he is being stalked by something paranormal.
I was fighting something that was more powerful than me, and I couldn't control what was going on. I was thinking, maybe I'm possessed. What was going through my mind at this moment is I need help, and I don't know what to do.
Now let's talk about science because They hate admitting anything paranormal. Most scientists say demons are just our brains glitching, psychosis, schizophrenia, or sleep paralysis. But here's the twist: some researchers have studied patients with no medical cause for what they're experiencing: multiple voices, knowledge they shouldn't have, speaking languages they've never learned. But sure, Becky, they're just dressed. That's why they're just levitating in the living room. Like Dr. Richard Gallagher, who is a Yale trained psychiatrist, and he says he's seen possession with his own eyes. Check out what he has to say.
Highlight this case of a woman I called Julia. All the facts in that chapter are 100% accurate, other than the fact that I don't say where she's from. She was not from the New York area. There were three amazing aspects of the case, which is one of the reasons I highlighted it in the book. And as a matter of fact, it's one of the reasons that they're making a Hollywood movie out of her. So long story short, it's a fascinating case. It was fascinating to me because even in the view of the exorcist, including this Father Jacques as well as another guy, they said to me, Rich, this is a once in a century case. I mean, even for a possession, this is the most flamboyant case they had ever seen. So I knew I was dealing with, I mean, I had to verify it myself, being a little skeptical. Having said that, it became obvious to me very quickly that she was possessed. I saw her in possessed states. Number two, and as an explanation for why this happened to her, and she knew she was possessed. She was a fairly intelligent woman, not highly educated, but intelligent. She was possessed because she was one of these rare Satanists. I mentioned earlier, Cameron, that there sometimes is exaggeration about Satanists, but this was the real deal. This was one of the real cult Satanist members, not a nice bunch, who literally worship Satan. And since she did literally worship Satan, she was somewhat surprised that she became possessed. Interestingly, she wanted to get rid of the possession while remaining a Satanist. Which is a contradiction in terms. I mean, you can't seek help to get an exorcism while you're going to remain a Satan worshiper. So basically, the priest, again, this Father Jacques, wanted me to evaluate her, not because he was unclear about her being possessed. He and several other mental health professionals had already confirmed to their satisfaction that she was possessed, but because she was ambivalent about getting help. As I said, she wanted to be relieved of her possession. On the other hand, she did not want to leave the cult. So this was obviously a problem. You might say it was a type of ambivalence. And they wanted me to talk to her and discuss that with her and see if there were, also psychological or emotional reasons why she was remaining with the cult. So I came to know her quite well. And I would say a third amazing fact about this case is she did treat me honestly and respectfully. At the end of our working together, when I first met her, my wife and I were in our bedroom in our suburban house, and it was 3 a.m., interestingly enough. This is a little more now than 25 years or so. We've always had pets, and we had two cats, and they used to sleep at the end of our bed. They were quite well-behaved cats. Cats can be a little ornery, but they were on the gentle and well-behaved side. And all of a sudden, we were awakened by these two cats fiercely fighting each other. Never seen ever before or since. To the point that they were scratching and clawing each other, going at each other like prize fighters, and we had to separate them. And we really didn't know what was going on. I mean, was this catnip or had they eaten something bad? We chalked it up to some kind of natural cause. As it turned out, the next morning, actually to my annoyance, the priest brought this woman, whom I call Julia, to my house. I later told him in no uncertain terms, do not bring Satanists to my neighborhood, okay? So they ring the doorbell, I trudge down the stairs, and Father Jacques, somewhat sheepishly, says to me, well, Dr. Gallagher, I'd like to introduce you to this woman I've been telling you about, Julia. And Julia looks at me with a smirk and says, out of the blue, "Oh, hi, Dr. Gallagher. Nice to meet you. By the way, how did you like those cats last night?" You can imagine I was taken aback. I was taken aback so much by her comment that I didn't really express to her the annoyance I had if she had anything to do with this. I'm thinking, how is this possible that she knew that? I'd never met her before. So anyway, that was the start of my dealings with the Satanist Julia. We had many conversations. She exhibited a lot of, even outside of her possessed trances, she exhibited a lot of, let's call it, psychic abilities. What is a good example? For instance, she would often tell me that she had the ability of what the parapsychological crowd calls remote viewing. In other words, they claim there's this kind of occult third eye in their mind, and they can see people at a distance. It's all kind of occult mumbo jumbo, but it's a real phenomenon in certain people, often people who are occultists, as she was. So she had told me about this a couple of times, and then once she said, I can see the chief exorcist at the moment. The chief exorcist was, I'm 6'5". I'm a big guy. This guy was even made me look small. He was a 6'7" ex-Marine. He was going to be the chief exorcist on the case, not Father Jacques. And she said, well, I can see, he called himself Father A. It was kind of a nom de guerre, a sort of a pseudonym for, because he wanted to remain anonymous. Again, people know who it was if they really know the scene at the time in America, but I continue to call him by the name he used, Father A. So she said, I can see Father A at a distance. I knew where he was. He was 100 miles away, and he usually lived at this, rectory. I said, yeah, what is he doing? And Julia said to me, well, he's walking along a beach not far from his house, and he's saying I think she said he's saying his mumbo jumbo prayers. By that she meant he's saying his daily breviary, divine office, which priests say. And I said, what is he wearing? And she said, well, he has a blue windbreaker on, and he has khaki pants. I mean, there's absolutely no way she would know that. And I said to her, I think I could joke around a little bit with her at the time. I said, well, Julia, Miss Smarty Pants, I'm going to call him on the cell phone right now. So I called him, and he didn't know why I was calling. And I said, what are you doing? And he said, I'm usually at the rectory, but I decided I would take a little drive to the beach and say my prayers, the divine office, walking along the beach. And I said, and what are you wearing? And he said something to me like, who wants to know? And I said, just humor me, Father. He said, well, I have a windbreaker. What color? Blue. And I have my khakis on.
It's 2025, and demons, they're not going anywhere. If anything, they've gone digital. TikTok, for instance, has a whole side of hashtag demon stories and hashtag possessions. AI has generated some wild imagery that's disturbingly accurate to ancient lore. And guess what? Exorcism requests are reportedly on the rise again. So, whether you believe demons are fallen angels, psychic projections, or just ancient boogeymen, we cannot deny their impact. They've shaped religion, haunted the hell out of homes, and kept ghost hunters up at night. Not this ghost hunter. Not yet. Hopefully, never. But I would like to see it. If you've made it this far, my paranormal soldier, you're braver than most. Make sure your salts are fresh, your vibes are high, and your mind stays wide open. So until next time, my paranormal soldiers, remember, stay bad to the bone. Love, peace, and hair grease. I am out.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the fucking hours it takes to get some power. Don't be fucking sour, take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. And fuck all the doubters, they're just fucking downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm pissed off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all wanna ring, yeah, we all wanna be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart, are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs, are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm pissed off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.